Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, also known as your BFF Steph. On this channel, just in case you're new here, I talk about all things small business and entrepreneurship related. I mainly talk about trucking and photo booths and side hustles and passive income. So if this is your first time here and you haven't done so yet, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I promise you won't be disappointed. We talk about small business here, and if you found this video, it's most likely because you're into one of the things I'm about to discuss. So for today's video, we are going to talk about the things you need to do before you start a photo booth business. I promise you'll be happy that you did it now as opposed to having to do or think about it later. So the first thing you need to do is research the market in your area. What that means is there a market for photo booths? Do people in the area already have it? And if they don't have it, that can be a great thing because you're gonna be the first one with it, but it could also be a bad thing. Is there not a target market for it? Like, will there be people around to book it? So the best thing to do is research the area, at least find out about the different events happening there. Find out about the different venues in the area, see if they would want to team up with you once you get it, but not too soon before you get it because you don't want them getting one before you get one. Find out a little more about the people who run the venues in your area to gauge whether or not this is a good market for it. And if it's not in your immediate area, how far would you need to travel to get to that target market where they are having a lot of events where people would want to book the photo booth? And also, are you willing to travel to those areas? Because I know some people live in small towns and the nearest city might be 50 miles away. If you have to drive 50 miles away every weekend to do bookings, is that okay with you? Does it fit in with your budget? Does it match the profits you want to make? So those are some of the things you want to research. Next, you want to figure out what your budget is for the overall business. So not only do you need to buy the photo booth and the props and the software, you also need to form your business. That could be a sole proprietorship or an LLC. And to be honest, some people don't do this part because they treat photo booths like it's a side business, which is okay. But I feel like from my experience, you should definitely treat it like an actual business as far as forming it into an LLC or a sole proprietorship. Me personally, I did an LLC and it works best for me. I feel like you'll make more than enough money where it'll be more than a side hustle for you. But if you plan to just use it for just some extra money and you don't want to spend the extras, put that aside and still think of what your actual budget is for buying a booth, buying the marketing materials, buying the software, buying the props, the things that you'll need to actually even have it as a side hustle. That is something you should think about prior to purchasing the booth, because you might say, oh, my budget is $2,000 and that's just enough for the booth. You didn't even include shipping, you didn't include props, you didn't include software, and now you're stuck with a booth that you can't use. So you want to think about those things prior to buying it. Speaking of the budget, you also want to research the vendor that you plan on buying it from. So most of you who've seen my videos before, you already know that I have an ebook all about starting a photo booth business, as you can see here. And you can purchase that ebook. The link is in the description of this video. In that ebook, I include my vendor, which is a trusted vendor. Many people have purchased my ebook and at this point have purchased a photo booth from my vendor. And I've also ordered the photo booth for a lot of other people who didn't want to go through the process of ordering it themselves. I purchased it on my own. So I have a great relationship with this vendor. It's a trusted vendor. You're for sure going to get your booth. But there are also people who choose to go with their own vendors. Like maybe you found a vendor prior to even finding out about my vendor. Make sure you research the vendor. How long does it take to receive the photo booth? How long does it take for them to build it or ship it? Is it coming domestically? Is it coming internationally? Is it gonna be flown over? Is it gonna be coming by sea? I had a video where I talked about how long it took me to get my first photo booth because it was in the middle of the pandemic and it took me almost 3 months to get it by sea when it really should have took no more than like 30 days. So it was a mess at first. But since then, like I said, I've used that vendor numerous times. I've gotten photo booths within 7 days because now they're flying them. So we account for all of the shipping costs and everything for flying now. I wouldn't do it by sea unless I had the time to wait. Like if I knew I wanted to start my business down the line, then I would do it by sea because it's cheaper. But now everything is flown over. My vendor is located in China. So make sure you research your vendor, whether they are local, domestic, international, whatever. Just make sure you have a great understanding of the time frame and how things will work as far as getting the photo booth to you. After you have researched your vendor and you know when your photo booth is coming, the next thing you should do is figure out your launch date. I can't explain how many people come to me and they tell me that they've had their photo booth sitting in their garage or sitting in storage without using it. And I can understand why they hesitate, because it might be kind of intimidating once you get the box. The box is huge and you're like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But try your best to get out of that. And I think the best way to do that is to be prepared with a tentative launch date. So if you get your photo booth, I would say you should plan to launch maybe 30 days after that, because if you just sit on it, you're losing out on so much money. And I promise you, it's not hard. I'm actually going to do a video later in the week, and I'm going to do the full setup of how I set up the booth, how I set up the sharing station and things like that, just so you guys could see that it's really not that hard and you don't need to wait. So try to be prepared with a launch date so that you know, all right, I am gonna start this date. This is the day I want to start. So that you're not just sitting on it, because I promise you, you're wasting money. And once you get started and you start making money, you're gonna be like, why did I waste that 90 days with the photo booth in my garage? The next thing you should do is research and learn the software that you're gonna do. So it's no secret that I love Touchpix. That is the software I use for my photo booths, but there are other 360 photo booth softwares out there that other people use. I also have the selfie mirror booth, and we use a different software for that. So depending on the photo booth that you're gonna get, you should research the software. So I know a lot of people that watch my videos watch them for the 360 talk. So with the 360 photo booth, like I said, I love Touchpix. I'm actually doing a live tutorial this Sunday, February 19th, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And the class is free if you join my photo booth group on Facebook. It's a private group. It's strictly for people who are aspiring photo booth entrepreneurs or already have their own photo booths, and we just share tips and tricks on how to get clients and different things like that. Right now, I have a special running. You could get access to the group for 30 days free, and after that free trial of 30 days, it's $9.99 monthly. So if you are a member of the group, you can access that live tutorial for free. If you are not a member of the group, there is a fee to join the course, and that fee is $25. Still very much worth it, in my opinion. I'm very knowledgeable on the software, and the software is very, very important to running the photo booth. It's almost as important as having the photo booth itself. So even if you don't want to use Touchpix, there are tons of other people on YouTube who talk about different software. Make sure you get to know the software that you plan to use, because like I said, that is just as important as the photo booth. So try to learn the software prior to even getting the booth, or as soon as you get the booth, because that's probably where people get stuck. They don't want to learn the software, they don't know the software, and now they just don't know what to do with the booth. So try to get that as soon as possible. And if you are interested in the class or the group or both, the links are in the description of this video as well. The next thing you should do is decide if this is going to be a solo endeavor, or are you going to have a team or partners or whatever. So for me, I went into this business with my boyfriend. It has been great since the beginning. We do it ourselves, and from time to time we'll hire other people, but it's completely up to you. I have videos on my channel and on my Instagram at your.bff.steph where you can see me doing it alone. So if you are a woman, it is something you could do on your own depending on the size of the photo booth you have. So I have the medium size, which fits about 3 to 4 people, and I also have the large size 360, which fits 5 to 6 people. I can't do the large size alone. I always need help. But the medium size, I can do alone. I've done it alone numerous times. So it's completely up to you and what your capacity level is. But you want to decide that beforehand, because I promise you, before you know it, the bookings will start to take over, and you need to know your schedule. You never want to book something that you have to cancel. You want to at least have people on hand that know it. Even if they're not a part of your team, maybe you guys could come up with some type of payment structure so that when they do step in for you, they know what they're getting paid, they know what to expect, they know what to do. But before you get your booth, you should decide if you have time for it or not. And if you don't have time, do you have a business partner or somebody else that could join you? And the startup cost is not too hefty depending on the booth you get, but it doesn't hurt to go in with multiple people because you could split the budget, you could split the profits, and you can all be helping to grow that business. So that's something I recommend knowing beforehand. Next, make sure you know how you're going to get the word out. So of course there's flyers, there's business cards, there's groups like the one I have, there's promoting on social media, but you might want to run ads. I run ads from time to time. Ads always work for me. When I run ads for my photo booth, I'm guaranteed to get bookings, and it's just it has become a part of our budget to run ads and decide how much money we're going to spend on ads. I'll get into videos about ads down the line, but these are things we talk about in the group. These are things we discuss in private. So if that's something you're interested in, of course, join the group for those reasons, because little tips and tricks you just won't hear publicly, you might hear in the group. But anyway, you want to know how you're going to get the marketing materials out. One thing I can say that also works for me, when we first started out, I used to, and sometimes I'll still do this for like, if an event is big enough, I'll reach out to the promoter or the organizer of that event and ask them if I could bring my photo booth for free. I'll bring the photo booth, I'll run it just like a regular event, and I get so many bookings from that. When you go to those free events like that, that's when you definitely want to have your business cards on hand, your flyers on hand, maybe even a discount that you're promoting at that time. People always love the photo booth, and they call me right after. There's always a birthday, always a wedding, a party, a baby shower, something going on. People want that entertainment at their events. They always reach out to me after those free events. I don't do as many as I used to because right now I have a pretty steady clientele, and I have those people spreading the word for me, so I don't really have to do the free events. But like I said, if the event is big enough, I'll do it for free because it's free promo. So think about that. If you know a big event is coming to your city, or if you know a celebrity is gonna be at a certain venue, maybe reach out to that venue and see if you could bring your photo booth there for free, just to even get that celebrity on the booth. If you get that celebrity on the booth, you can always use that for promotion. Like, it's just a win-win situation. So definitely think about how you're gonna get the word out about your photo booth before you get it, because I'm telling you, you definitely have to do more than just set it up. You definitely have to get the word out, just like with any other business, so that people could start calling you and booking you. The next thing you need to think about is, how will you accept money? Are you gonna be taking deposits? Like, do people have to put down a deposit at the time of booking? Do they pay in full at the time of booking? Do they pay when you get there? Are you only taking cash? Do you take it through a website? Do you accept PayPal? How are you gonna accept credit cards and debit cards? Do you take checks? Many different things you need to think about. Like, people want to know how to pay, and you need to be ready with those forms of payment, because you don't want to miss a sale because you have to take time to figure out how to accept the money. Not everybody has Cash App, not everybody has Zelle. Some people want to pay with a credit card. So you want to figure out how you're going to be accepting payments way beforehand, because once someone reaches out to book, it goes pretty fast. Like, I've had people reach out to me and pay in full the same day, unexpectedly. Never heard from them a day in my life, but they have heard of me, and the referral is coming from a trusted source. So they're like, no, I just want to book this day. I know you get booked up fast, and I want to take it. You want to be ready to take all forms of payment. So you want to figure that out in the beginning as well. One of the next things you want to figure out is, how will you automate your bookings? So because the bookings tend to go fast once you get up and running, you want it to be as automated as possible. So A typical booking for me, someone will call me or text me or email me and ask me if a certain date is available. I'll say, yes, it is. No, it's not. Whatever. Let's say I say, yes, it is. I'll immediately send them my website to book. I don't have to do anything else. The website gives them some upsells for me. It tells them what dates and times are available. They'll reach out to me if they have specific questions, but the props are on there, the additional props, my backdrops, everything is on my website. So my website is pretty much very automated. I don't really have to do much, and I like it that way. It's minimal talking. They either take it or they don't. I always give them the option to reach back out to me with any questions or concerns. The contract is there. Like there's so many things that they can do on their own. And I really don't hear from them until it's time for them to pay. Only time I hear from them is if they are confused about the payment, which is rare because it's very self-explanatory. But my website is pretty automated. So I recommend you figuring out how you're gonna automate your website so that you don't have to sit there constantly taking calls and emails about the photo booth outside of if you're available or not. Lastly, think about how you plan to expand your business. Like I said, I know a lot of people go into photo booths thinking like, oh, this is gonna be my side hustle. And for a long time, it might be your side hustle. But how are you gonna expand once things take off? Do you plan to just keep it as is? If so, that's fine. If you're stable with just one photo booth and the bookings that you get, there is nothing wrong with that. That might be enough money to sustain what you got it for. But there are some people like myself who want to grow in every business I get into. So something to think about is, how do you plan to expand? If you're only doing birthday parties, do you plan to go into formal events like weddings? Do you plan to do corporate events where you're working with a company? Do you plan to do live events with more people? Like, you want to think about how you can expand your clientele. Do you want to buy more photo booths? Do you want to bring on employees? Think about what this means for you. And to be honest, that might not come to you right away until you get the photo booth and you learn the ins and outs of it. But think about what this business means for you. It's not always gonna start and end the way you plan. So just be open-minded about what can come from it. That wraps up all of the tips that I have for today, the things you need to do before you start a photo booth business. As I said, I have an ebook on all of this where I go further into the business of the photo booth. You can purchase my ebook. The link is in the description. I also have a private Facebook group for photo booth entrepreneurs where we can talk about different tricks and tips. And as I said, if you are a part of that group, you can get access to the live Touchpix tutorial that I have coming up this Sunday. All links are in the description. The group is free for 30 days and only $9.99 after. So I hope to see you guys in there. As usual, thank you so much for watching my channel. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to talk to me, leave me a comment, or you can follow me on Instagram at your.bff.steph. And other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.